There was a preacher the other day at a Holiness church, and he made the comment that there are people that watches his live stream every single week to try to dissect everything he says. And I was like, how do you know I'm watching?
Yeah, I'm busted. Doggone it.
Man, I thought I was incognitus.
Every time you pop up on their live stream, it just says Hillbilly broadcast watching.
3, 2, 1.
Get ready, set, go.
I'm kind of getting tired of our intro, Canaan. Or at least like the tagline. Is this thing on? I don't feel like it has the same punch it used to.
Well, I think it's because you're not giving it the gumption that it needs.
Why don't you demonstrate for me the gumption that I need?
Is this thing on? I never get enough volume.
You're hired. I think you need to do it from now on.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I don't know. I liked it in the beginning, and then like the more I did it, like the more douche chillier I got.
No, it's true. But I'll tell you what, it was so funny in the beginning though. Wasn't that from like Phil Robertson on the Unashamed podcast?
Yeah, well, it wasn't from the podcast. It was the episode where they did the Thanksgiving thing, and they like took over a TV station on Duck Dynasty.
Oh, okay.
And they had him. He's like standing out there, and you know how old dudes do with technology. And he's holding this microphone.
Yes.
He's like got it up real. He's like, "Is this thing on? Can you hear me?"
No, how about you speak up a little louder?
And me and John just rolled laughing at it.
Now, have you heard about? This was on the Unashamed podcast. They were talking about he was, I believe, preaching or praying at Sadie Robertson's wedding, and they said they were having a lot of problems, I guess, with the microphone, and so they said he was having to yell so people would actually hear him because I guess it was a massive wedding, and so they said that, but halfway through the microphone kicks on, and they said he's just like screaming into the microphone, and they said it was like so loud. And they said people were like laughing, like holding their ears and stuff because he just bellowed into this microphone that he thought was off.
Dude, when I grow up, man, I want to be Phil Robertson.
Yes. I want to be as rich as Phil Robertson.
Yeah, that too. I just love how like there are zero craps given by him. Like what you think. It's not that he's mean. He's just got this whole thing of like, you don't like it? Big deal.
It's true. I really like the guy a lot. I feel like he's a really good man, honestly. I've been listening to Unashamed podcast now consistently I'm only on episode like 170. So I've got a long ways to go, but man, like just a lot of great things to say. And I feel like he is actually a really good man.
I've actually backed off of it a little bit lately. I need to get back into it. I don't know. Sometimes I like the little beginning stuff like where they're just carrying on, but then other times I'm like, I just want to hear the Bible study part. I'm sure people, hate it when we beat around the bush and get to a topic like we've done multiple times.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do we want to go with this one, Canaan? We've got so many things that we could talk about. I feel like I would like to talk a little bit more about some of the past episodes we've had that I feel like I never really got to address, because I'll say this, when a guest is on, number one, I don't want to look like a fool in front of the guest.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I don't say as much maybe as I would normally. And then other times after the episodes come out and you've had time to sit and think about it, you always have other things that come to your mind.
That's true. Well, let's start with is his name Andrew Graham?
Yes.
We could kind of hit on that we could hit on that briefly and kind of give our thoughts and concerns on that.
Yeah. There's a lot there to be concerned about, but
there is a lot to be concerned about that.
I know you were pretty, like, you usually don't speak up much during interviews, right?
I really don't. I don't. My opinion on that is like, I want to give the guy or girl that we're interviewing, I want to just give them all the time in the world. Two, what was it Abraham Lincoln said? It's better to let people think you are ignorant than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yes.
So
That's true.
So I believe it was Abraham Lincoln that said that. Anyway,
I thought you were getting ready to quote Abraham Lincoln when he said, "If you're a racist, I will attack you with the North." The Office. I just seen that episode the other day.
That is a good one. I remember that one. And he kind of like sat there and stuttered too. Yeah. And Abraham Lincoln said, "If you are racist, I will attack you with the North." That's about how he said it. Oh man, you could just tell he had no idea where he was going, which I almost didn't know where I was going with that.
So go ahead. Well, you were talking about giving the guests all of the time, and I agree with that because I feel like actually I just listened to an interview the other day, and it was PCI, Predator Catchers, Indianapolis.
Yes.
And dude, I bet you out of an hour podcast, they might have actually spoke for maybe 10 minutes.
Oh my word.
Yeah, because this guy, and actually I thought about getting some clips of this interview just to show how aggravating it was because dude, he would just start talking, he would ask a question, and then he would launch into like a 5-minute, no joke, 5-minute explanation of his question.
Oh my word. It
was the worst interview I ever heard, and it was not on PCI's part at all. It was completely on the interviewer.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And so that's what I really want is, obviously we brought them on because they know more about that topic than I'll ever know about it. So it's like, give them as much time and stuff. And plus, I can't say that I know a ton about, about that topic. I know more than I would like to, Yeah. It's horrible, but no, I would say though, probably the biggest thing that really caught my attention, and it was one part I was actually going to speak up, but then John Hopkins actually brought it out, and he couldn't have been more right. I noticed through the interview, a lot of times, people were talking about like, why don't you think they can speak out? Do you think it's like abusive situation? Do you think? And honestly, and John hit it perfectly in the Holiness movement anyway. It's not about like abuse or anything like that, which I'm sure there are those cases, but it is just that no one talks about sex.
Yeah.
I mean, if my mom and dad and my granddad and grandma, if they even sense that conversation would even be going anywhere remotely close to that direction, all right, clean it up. After that filthy talk, so I remember the first time I heard somebody say sex and they said it like nonchalant. I'm just like, oh my goodness, he said sex.
They're having dirty talk.
I'm like beat red, and I'm just like, it was just dirty. You didn't talk like that. So John spoke up on that, and I believe that he hit the nail right on the head. That was perfect. So,
yeah, there was a lot of things. There was a lot of things that stuck out to me after that interview, and actually, I was still like sitting and thinking about him and talking him over with people. And then the response that we started getting from people was, I mean, how do you describe it when somebody's writing in to tell you things because you just did a podcast on sexual abuse? I mean, it's not like normal fan mail. You're not like, man, it was great.
Yeah.
With this one, it's like, oh my Lord.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Like,
Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they wrote in and all that. And I, keep doing it. Absolutely. But it's kind of like you do that episode and then all this stuff starts coming in that just kind of like really verifies it for you. And you're like, man, I wish I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Anyways, I tell you what, Andrew Graham also said that he's not really hearing many conservative leaders speaking out against it. And that really kind of struck me as I let that sit and soak a little bit. It's like, yeah, that's 100% the case. You've got these big holiness churches and stuff. And even since that came out, and I know that podcast has made the rounds, it is right now, I think, our third most popular episode. And it's like, there's still zilch, zero, no talk about it. And that really disturbs me.
Well, and they won't. They won't. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about it. Was it you were telling me yesterday that there was a big time preacher that was like, you don't have to tell me. I'm quite aware of it or whatever. And that's like,
yeah.
What I hear from that is, you don't have to tell me. I'd rather keep my head in the sand.
That's kind of how it comes across.
I mean, I don't understand how there can be so many cases. I mean, and I'll even be a little generous here. Not in just the Holiness movement. It's not. It's in the Amish. It's in the Mennonites.
True.
It's in the Pentecostals. It's in the Baptists. I'm not picking on just the Holiness, but in our circles, the circles that we grew up in, the circles that we know about, we know of tons and tons of cases, and they're not talking about it. They're not really trying to. Dude, I have seen more stuff swept under the rug than it's unreal. It is real. It's mind boggling.
Here's the question I have. Why is it swept under the rug? So is this something to where people actually are just uncomfortable about it? Or is this purely we can't let the movement look bad, so therefore everybody shut up about it?
Yes. Well, I think honestly what you said there is it's a combo of a few different things. I think that it is, for one, we don't want to make anybody look bad. We don't want to make the movement look bad. It's awkward to talk about. No one really wants to deal with this. So I think it's a few different things. And that's just me. That's just my opinion. Somebody could listen to this podcast and be like, "Man, you're full of it." But that, my opinion is, I think it's a few different things like that they just, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to discuss it.
Yeah.
They just hope it goes away. And two, and this is hang with me for a second here. They don't trust God when it comes to leading you into the walk that you should be walking with Christ, as far as, whether a woman should wear pants or cut her hair, or a guy should wear shorts or, short sleeves, or, whatever. They don't trust God on God to lead you into that, but oh my, they really trust God when it comes to these pedophiles running around. Oh my, God's forgiven them. God's forgiven them. They're fine. They're all covered by the blood. Amen.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. So they trust God on certain things, but then they don't trust Him on others. So
And to me, Canaan, that's black and white. Okay, if somebody's hurting kids, say something about it or do something about it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Why is that such a controversial thing?
I really don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm just, simple-minded, and that's very possible, but it just doesn't seem like a hard thing for me.
No.
And especially if that movement is what they say they are and what I believe they were growing up, then it's not about the politics. It's not about, keeping men in power. If it's purely about doing what's right and getting people to heaven, then say something about kids getting molested.
Yes, absolutely.
And something else that I really liked his response to some of that was their theology. It doesn't compute with it because they think you hit this level where you never sin anymore. And when somebody sins, they don't know how to deal with it. Yeah.
And kind of going back to what I said a minute ago, there's a story that, I can't remember the names now, and I wouldn't want to put the names on here anyway, but, let's just say, his name was Roger. Okay. There's a guy named Roger going to this church. He's got a wife. Back a few years ago, he got in some trouble for, I think, messing around with some underage kids. And so the wife asked this other couple from the same church, asked them if they wanted to come over, him and the kids, for maybe some ice cream or something like that. And he's like, well, yeah, I guess we can, but is Roger going to be there? He's like, well, I don't know if I'm really comfortable, with that. Oh, come on. Roger hasn't done that in years. Roger's not like that no more.
Did Roger ever serve time for what he did?
Roger, as far as I know, never served any time. He never, no nothing, man. Just, Roger's not like that anymore. Roger got saved. Roger's saved and, and probably sanctified and satisfied and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, who says
And,
Roger's not like that anymore? Did Roger tell you that? Because that's what he's going to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's what Roger's going to tell you. Roger's going to say, I haven't done that in at least 20 minutes. It's like,
Jeez.
Like,
Holy cow.
goodness gracious. So it's just like, oh my. Anyway, I believe they're really trusting. And I think, you can have those people in your church and stuff, but I think there needs to be a lot of drastic steps made. We talked about the Robertsons podcast. I remember listening to Al talk about one. There was a guy that was coming to their church that had been convicted of molestation. And Al sat him down, and Al said, "Hey, we want you here at the church. We love you. God loves you. We want you here. But this is things that you won't be doing. You won't be helping out with this, and this. When you go to the bathroom, there will be always an adult supervising you. And I'm like, why can't all churches be like that? Why can't all pastors just kind of just jump in and be like, hey, hey, love you. We want you here. God loves you, but you won't be doing this. You won't be helping out with that. You will be accompanied by somebody at all times, and I'm like, man, that's amazing, dude. That's great. Like,
yeah,
I love that.
Yeah. And that's common sense. And something you just said there a little bit ago, that they're very trusting. And I think that the normal run-of-the-mill member is like that. That's the reason why. And I think there's a lot of good people in that movement. But
yeah, I agree.
Can you say the same thing about the leadership, though? That they're just trusting? That's why they let this stuff just go and nobody talks about it, that they just have faith in that individual? Because to me, it seems like it'd be awful hard to make the case that the leader he's just trusting, so therefore he's not going to talk about it. I think it's like cowardice or a political move because they don't want the movement tainted or something.
Yes, I believe it. I believe you're right, dude. I believe it's heavy into politics, and I would say that's probably your biggest thing right there is probably just And
I'm not going to lie. I've been kind of ticked lately. And it's not that I think that our show is anything special, because it's not. But I know that people in that movement and leaders in that movement have heard that episode.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that it's not that I want them to address our show, just address the problem. Don't mention our show.
Yeah.
You never have to listen to us again. But the fact they know about it, and still it's mum's the word, man. And there's been times I've been finding myself just getting freaking angry at that.
Yeah.
Like they know there's a problem and they refuse to do anything about it.
Yep. Continue to just sit on their hands and do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this stuff's happened in the past. Why should we think it's not happening right now? And I'll tell you that I know Canaan, me and you talked about this. I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast, but what was described by the local TV station in that area, and I think even the prosecuting attorney, don't hold me to that, of Hancock County, West Virginia, they described they said it was the worst case of sexual abuse they'd ever seen in the county.
Yeah.
And it was committed by two holiness men that me and you were around for years as kids at Clinton Camp.
Yeah, it's true. I remember watching that video, dude. That was unreal watching that, dude. Like so many flashbacks of like seeing them around Clinton. As soon as I saw their faces, I was like, yep, I seen them.
I know.
Seen them all the time.
I know. Yep. And for the judge, and maybe one of these days we should play the clip. I don't have it ready now, but the judge was so ticked off at the dad, which was Carl Halstead.
Yeah.
He was so ticked off at him. He said, if I had the authority to do so, you would be on death row today.
Yeah. He said, but the state of West Virginia does not have.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
He was wanting to give it to him, and they don't even have it in the state of West Virginia.
So, but he still yet. Carl Halstead got sentenced to up to 300 years. That's how bad the assault was. Yes,
he did. He won't see the light of day again.
No, but, thank goodness.
But here's oh yes, absolutely. And here's what I find interesting. I have not heard anybody from Clinton Camp say one word about that. And they were there for years.
I know.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you've heard anything, I'm sorry. But I've not heard them say anything about them, and that's been what 3 years ago, 3 years ago.
They got convicted in 2014, I think.
Okay. See, and I haven't heard anything.
I haven't either.
Anything from Clinton camp on that, and them guys were around there all the time, man.
And to me, it's like, okay, dude, kids just ran. You know how it was. We just had our childhood up there. We just ran free all over that place.
Oh, I know, dude. I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, like, how did we stay safe? And who possibly didn't stay safe? You know,
I know.
Up there. Of course, I was a fat little kid. No one was wanting me at that time.
So here's my thing. Instead of these preachers getting up and talking about how people just aren't taking the good old fashioned way anymore, or there's people trying to destroy the movement, or these people are just going directly against the word of God, which we all know is bull crap. Instead of getting up there and saying that, why don't you just start taking some measures to keep this kind of thing from happening in your church?
Yeah, exactly right.
And then,
right.
What do we have then to holler about?
Yeah. Exactly.
Other
right.
than your standards.
Don't even get me started on that. Dude.
We will find something to holler about.
Dude, we need to transfer over in that a little bit now.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking about rapists.
So transferring over that a little bit, did you ever get the clip of this man preaching on the socks and the hat on backwards and all that?
I don't have it handy. I could get it, but it would probably take me a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, I don't want to put you out. But man, we need to get that together, dude. We got to talk about that, dude. So the listeners, so they know, we have found ourselves what we would call a gold mine. on info. Well, because correct me if I'm wrong, we've always like said, like, hey, this is what they're saying, you know, this is what they're spouting. It's crap, don't listen to it, whatever. But we never had any really good basis, I guess you could say, because we didn't have any video or audio recordings of it. Because most of them strict churches actually don't even have like any sort of live stream or anything like that.
Yeah, they don't really believe and a lot of them don't believe in the internet too. Yeah. Yes,
absolutely. So when you're the one that came across this and actually found it, and this is a church that I know of and know of well.
Oh yeah.
There is some great audio stuff in there. So when that comes on, that is going to be great to just really dissect into that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I would like to play it just to prove to people what we saw.
Yeah, and what we heard as young people.
Yeah, because I think I've even come across this response before, and it's valid from people that weren't in the crazier side of the movement, like me and you were. They'll be like, nah, man, them people's crazy. We don't believe like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the big holiness churches that you see online, dude, most of their services, their sermons will be just fine. Just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it'd be like, well, man, how do I prove this point to people? But we found one the other day. Dude, we do need, I think when you come down,
yes,
we need to just sit and play this thing and just let people see what we're talking about.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's kind of what we decided on anyway, wasn't it? When I got down there.
I think we did talk about that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be better because, man, oh my word, dude, us together sitting around a table laughing at that's going to be amazing. Well, it's going to be amazing.
It was crazy because, yes, you're right. And just so people have a general idea of what to keep looking for in a future episode, this guy was preaching against wearing your hat backwards. He was preaching against wearing shoes with no socks.
Doggone it.
He was preaching against wearing bibbed overalls with one strap unbuttoned.
What?
I'm being totally serious, dude.
Dude.
Totally serious.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah.
Dude, that's unreal. So, I mean, so let's address the hat on backward right quick. But I don't know if you knew this or not, but my family, they were big and against the hat on backwards, man.
And what was the reason?
They said it was a sign of rebellion.
Yeah, that was this guy's point too. Yeah.
They said that, like, my dad, he would say, I'll tell you what, I don't care what little movie you watch, man. It could be a little kid movie. But I'm going to tell you something. The bad boy always has his hat on backwards. Oh, my. Okay. That's a strong argument. That's really strong. I love it.
I guess they never watched American Sniper, where the good dude puts his hat on backwards and lights some people up.
Yeah, for real. I guess he's never been on a four-wheeler either. So, I mean, there's that. Or a motorcycle. I mean, but I bet you right now, dude, I walk into my grandma and grandpa's house. I walk in with my hat on backwards. Dude, grandpa, I wouldn't probably stand there 5 seconds with them out saying, hey, turn that hat around, boy. It's like, oh, my goodness. So, it's funny, dude, but that's going to be great. But hey, dude, in other news, did you know IHC is going on?
I did. Is it Fashion Week? I'm sorry.
It is, dude. No, man. It is.
I'm just joking, people. I know there's people that listen to go to IHC. I'm just kidding.
Why are you kidding? It's true. I don't apologize for truth. I mean, it's like, dude, I have seen ladies when I was a kid changing their clothes 2 and 3 times a day, and it's like, goodness, are you sweating that bad? Like, what, like, goodness, have you spilled, like, all that food that you've been shoveling down all day? Are you spilling all over your clothes or what? I mean, goodness.
You are going hard at it, man.
Dude, probably 5 minutes before this podcast started, man, I actually looked up Facebook, and it just happened to pop up, IHC.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Bible school. I don't know which Bible school it was. They actually weren't half bad. They were singing that song, Jesus Never Fails. And it sounded like a Disney production, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've listened to some of the music from there this year. Yeah, they got it together.
I was actually more impressed. I mean, the guy would sing a little tune, and then the woman would come in and sing a little tune, and I was like, okay. Then the choir would kind of come in there and butcher it up, and then they would kind of come back in there, and, I was like, okay, all right.
And then they would just finish with "Let It Go, Let It Go,
Let It Go." Please. Let it go. Oh, man. Oh, dude. No, man. Have you heard any of the preaching from there lately or no?
I have. There was a preacher the other day at a Holiness church, and he made the comment that there are people that watches his live stream every single week to try to dissect everything he says. And I was like, how do you know I'm watching?
Yeah, I'm busted. Doggone it.
Man, I thought I was incognitus.
Every time you pop up on their live stream, it just says Hillbilly broadcast watching. Oh, dude.
Well, my opinion is that's true. And if you're not ashamed of what you're saying, then don't worry about who's watching. And if they're dissecting, then, if you can defend against it. Yeah, I do watch a lot. Because I'm curious as to what's being preached. I like my mindset to be pushed back on.
Yes, absolutely.
As well. So I'll listen to them and try to figure out if I'm still on the right track or not.
Absolutely. And here's the thing too. If you don't want us to dissect it, how about you just start preaching truth and facts? And then you don't have to worry about us dissecting it, because there would no longer be anything to dissect.
Dude, you're a savage, yo.
I bet you all this will be cut out, won't it?
Heck no.
Oh, man. Dude, if they didn't like me before, they definitely aren't going to like me now. Have mercy. Now tell me, if you don't mind. Of course, you can edit out if you want. Who was the preacher that said that? Okay, gotcha. Okay, to dissect his sermons.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I think we've referenced him maybe a time or two on the podcast, but I always thought it was in a positive light. So I don't know, I don't think we've thrown a major amount of shade his way.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, honestly, I've always tried to be nice to certain other preachers because, I mean, I know a lot of them, and so do you. So it's like, I try not to be just outright mean, that's not my intent anyways.
Right.
But I'm also not the type to, dance around the issue either.
Well, a lot of times too, a lot of stuff that we say jokingly. We just don't say after every joke, "Hey, I'm joking." And I think
I'm kidding.
Yeah. We're pretty savage with each other. And so then maybe we're a little harder on other people than they're used to. Yeah. But we do a lot of jokers, like the whole Fashion Week thing. The whole, it's like, hey, I would expect somebody to throw jokes at me like that. To me, that's fun. But some people don't really know how to handle that.
They don't. A lot of them don't.
I'll give you an instance. For instance, I was at a church camp one time when I was a kid, and I don't remember if I've told this story on the podcast or not. And I made a joke. I think I have. I made a joke about beer and pretzels.
Ah, yes.
I was like 12 years old. Pretzels. Yeah, the old beer and pretzels. And dude,
it gets you every time.
It got me this time. I'll tell you that. One of the Holiness leaders, they took me aside, dude, and they freaking lit me up. Because I had the nerve to make a joke about beer and pretzels.
Beer and pretzels. Now, what you should have said was wine and pretzels, and then it would have been more biblical. So today, or was it today or yesterday, I was at work and I was joking around with the guys because, some of the guys at work are pretty conservative. And they said something about, one of the guys said something about, redneck saying, "Hold my beer." And I said, actually, the one that actually brought that on was Jesus. I said, his first miracle he did, he said, "Hold my wine and watch this." And they kind of chuckled, but they didn't really know how to take that one. and so, that's actually, I can't take credit for that. That's not original. That's a Jace Robertson saying right there.
Well, if it's good enough for Jace Robertson, it's good enough for me.
Yes, because I like Jace Robertson.
Dude, I would travel a long ways to hear one of those guys preach.
I would too. Honestly, man, Jace Robertson actually has that. I don't know if you've ever heard him talk about that plantation they have down there that him and his wife bought. Yeah,
was that Louisiana or Texas?
Yeah, I believe that's in Louisiana.
Okay,
I believe. And but you can Airbnb that out, and you can stay there. And I would love to go down there and stay a couple nights, and then go to one of their church services. Now, my luck, I would go down there the week they're not there. But but I would love to go down there and see if I could, just to hear him preach or teach or speak. It would be amazing.
It has crossed my mind to go down there, like drive or fly down, just to go hear Phil preach at what is that? Whites Ferry Road University Church, I think it is.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think yeah. Well, dude, we ought to just make plans to do it together, man.
We should.
We really should.
We'll just show up down there. Won't you guys have us over for dinner? And we did drive all this way.
We did drive all this way, brother Phil.
You owe us, man.
I heard that there was a guy that I guess he called Al, got in touch with Al, and he said he wanted to have dinner with Phil Robertson. Phil Robertson told him, said, No, I'm okay. Me and Mr. K are just up here, kind of relaxed. We really don't want any visitors right now. So Al told him, Al called back and said, Dad, this guy really wants to have dinner with you and Mom. And he said, No, not going to do it. That guy told Al, said, tell him I'll pay him $30,000 to do it.
Holy cow.
So he calls back and said, Dad said he's offering $30,000 to eat dinner, and he said, I'll have Miss K get the stove on. Oh man, I thought that was funny. I was like, dude, that's awesome right there.
That is good. So that's just something to keep in mind if any one of our fans want to pay $30,000 to have dinner with us.
We'll take you out to McDonald's. Oh man!
I'll make you the finest hamburger helper you've ever had.
That's all we can afford.
Oh my Lord!
Dude, no, I'll tell you, but No, but IHC, man, IHC really was a blast when I was a kid. And I just hate that they moved it over into Gatlinburg. Not because I don't like Gatlinburg. I love Gatlinburg. But, man, that's a 6.5-hour run for me. Back when it was at Dayton, I could run an hour and 45 minutes and I could be there, so I could go for like a day trip. But,
why'd they change it why'd they leave Dayton?
From what I understood is Dayton was not going to open up their convention center. The restrictions were just ridiculous.
Okay.
But I hear that from them moving it from Dayton to Gatlinburg, I hear that the numbers have just went up a ton. Because Gatlinburg is just a great tourist attraction. So
I would imagine because you can go right straight from the Old Smoky Moonshine Distillery straight over to IHC.
Yeah, buddy. Why didn't I go there this year, doggone it? Man, now I'm regretting not going to IHC. Dude, no joke. When I was a kid, I was a kid. I was probably 16, 17. Me and Mariah were just dating, and we were sitting in service. And they're in Dayton. Just down the road was from the convention was an Arby's, and so I told Mariah, I said, I'm hungry, and so we left the service, went down and got a few of them Arby's sandwiches. I shoved them in my pants, walked them back into service, went up in the top bleachers, and heard somebody preach and eat my roast beef sandwiches. But man, if I knew I could have had some Old Smoky moonshine with it, man, I would have been set.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
man. Heck yeah, dude.
Dude, the circles that I used to run in, they preached against IHC.
Oh, so you were a little stricter than I was.
Yeah, I think so. And for those that don't know what we're talking about, it's the, what is it, Interchurch Holiness Convention?
I think so. International Holiness Convention or something like that.
Yeah, it was preached against in some of my circles. They would always tell this story. And you know how stories can be, so I really don't put much stock in it. Yeah. So I'm not defaming IHC when I say this. I'm just pointing out a ludicrous story that I heard.
Yeah.
The story was that somebody talked to a hotel manager in Dayton, Ohio, which was the hotel that all the holiness people would stay in. And the hotel manager said, during that week that IHC is here, the porn usage goes through the roof.
That was all me. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Oh, dude.
Oh, my Lord.
Man.
Why do I believe that?
Because it's true. I'm just joking. It's really not. But, dude, well, I mean, okay. So say that's true. Say that story is true. Okay, yeah. Man, dude, you had so many freaking holiness boys, 15, 16-year-old boys, like, just running around with all these girls. And I mean, like, I'm not excusing, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, like, it could have possibly been true. I mean, dude, like, it was a known thing that if you were 15, 16 years old, man, you were going there to look for a girl. Like, you want to see them skirts, you know what I'm saying?
See them skirts,
and so, I mean, that very well could be, but man, like, is that the only thing you really can point at it and be like, I mean, that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that, but it's like, man, don't penalize the parents, and the good people because, there was maybe a bunch of teenage boys that were, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, and here's the thing too. If all those guys, which I don't believe that story, but if all those guys did have a porn addiction, wouldn't you want them in church?
Yeah, church is the best place for them.
Trying to get help for it?
Where else do you want them, at the beach? Oh, goodness.
Well, and here's the thing, too. Here's why I don't really believe it. Because it's not verifiable. It was just told as like, I was told that somebody talked to the hotel manager. All right, so what is this, like 15th hand information?
Well, and that's exactly right, man, because I've heard that same story. And you're right. Like, how many years has that story been going around? Like, dude, that story is like forever old.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
And I will say this, when I heard that story, it was back before smartphones come along. So it was a lot harder to obtain porn back then. So, like,
it was.
Here's what I don't understand. I remember Gavin used to say all the time, he's like, think it through. So some dude's there with his wife and kids to go to IHC, and you're in a one-room motel, and somehow he's going to find the time to watch porn while his wife and kids are asleep, like in the same motel room. I don't.
Yeah.
This seems logistically really hard to do.
No, it would. I mean, I see it. Now, how I used to do it is take the TV in the bathroom with me. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm lugging a 50-inch to the bathroom. No, you're exactly right though. Really, that you're right, because that is before smartphones and stuff. So you would had to watch it on the TV, and dude, let me tell you something, man. IHC has you so stinking busy. Dude, I don't really see how there'd ever be time to just go up to the room and just, you know. I mean, it's possible, but man, no.
Well, in fact, if a man did have time to attend all the activities there and watch porn, I'd be pretty impressed. I mean, this man's time management skills are impeccable.
Yes, exactly. And
I'm kidding for all the fundamentalists in the back of the room.
Oh man, dude.
Oh geez,
it's true, man. Oh, we've had some good fun tonight, man.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been
really good.
I enjoy a little laid back, even though we still hit on some serious stuff. But here's the thing: when me and you get together, this is like, we talk about serious stuff, and
we do.
We have a lot of dark humor, so we laugh at a lot of things most people wouldn't laugh at, but
most people would probably they'd probably frown upon us.
Well, here's the thing: you can sit and cry about it, or you can make a joke out of it. And I still think it's serious, whether I'm laughing about it or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.